Alright, what's up, guys? It's Kieran here. I'm here with another good video to talk about, I guess the whole, update with Devin Haney's fight with Gary Russell. Supposedly the fight is now off. Devin Haney, had everything, you know, uh, set up with him and his team, or I guess his father, right? To have the fight set up, and the stipulations were met for Gary Russell Jr., right? The reigning undefeated, or like reigning like what, super featherweight, right, champion for 126. And the thing is that Gary Russell, he wanted to make the deal with Devin's team to state that he's going for Devin's title, and then when Devin is done fighting Gary, let's just say if Gary does beat Devin, he wants to take Devin to another rematch for the fight, and then after that is completed, he wants to have like certain stipulations met for like the venue and you know I guess like where the fight will be broadcasted, and I guess with all those stipulations, that's what turned down like the whole fight altogether, because Gary is now making excuses to not fight Devin Haney. And I guess with that recent news of Gary's attempt to basically avoid Devin Haney, Devin Haney is no longer fighting Gary Russell, and I find this really disrespectful, because one, Devin Haney trained his ass off to be ready for this fight, and then two, Gary Russell was giving out the excuses to push back the date like further, right? Like he wanted like the date to be on December 26th, but obviously that's not going to happen because that's literally the day after Christmas. And I don't think there has ever been a boxing fight a day, like, especially the day after Christmas. So that was not going to work out properly, and it wouldn't make any sense because, like, who the hell would want to see that? So the issue is that, Gary Russell is making excuses to not really fight Devin on the agreements that Devin had agreed, or I guess followed, with Gary Russell and his management. So this is obviously disrespectful because Devin, is training his ass off to be ready for him, and Gary obviously isn't giving what Devin wants. So I guess that the fight is no longer made, and it sucks because Gary, he's a very good fighter, and I don't like to treat him like an asshole. But it just makes me think like he obviously just played all this drama with Devin Haney, and then you threw it out the window where like were serious at first, and then after that you started capping, or you just basically dipped out. So, Devin, he obviously took it to Twitter and he said, as expected, or I'm just gonna paraphrase what he said, but he said, as expected, Gary Russell, he was capping. So, he basically just said Gary Russell is lame. He's a waste of my time, and rightfully so. Gary Russell is a waste of Devin's time, and there was no reason for Devin to deal with that type of crap. See, now the issue for Devin is that who will be his next opponent? And I can pull up BoxRec right now for Devin Haney, as I can show you the list of available opponents that he could fight. Because everybody's saying like Devin Haney, he doesn't have that many people that want to fight him. Which, yes, I totally agree. He is the most avoided fighter at 135. But here are some fighters he can fight. Right here. All right. So we're gonna go to the rankings. Knowing that he is number 5. Which I know, honestly, like, for any of you Devin Haney fans, like, you're gonna tell me, okay, he should fight Teofimo Lopez, he should fight Gervonta Davis. Yes, I get that. He's been calling their asses out. And he's been calling Lomachenko out. And guess what? He can fight guys like Richard Comey, Javier Fortuna, which I think these guys actually have fights coming up, right? No. Actually, Javier Fortuna, he was supposed to fight Luke Campbell. So what the hell happened? Yo, like, am I missing something here? Like, he should have fought Luke Campbell. And yeah, like, that would have made everything better. But no, for some odd reason, that just doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't go to anybody's attention. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Because that means that there is really no actual way to put Javier Fortuna in the mix with, Devin Haney before then, when he was champion, which Devin, became a champion, like what? Yeah, he won his very first, well, yeah, he won his very first title against Burgos. Yeah, Juan Burgos. Yep. He got the UD. Yeah, so he's been like a champion for about 2 years. Heading to, or actually no. Well, I mean like 3 years technically, but I mean yeah, he's been a champion for quite the longest. He's like the youngest champion ever. But that being said, Devin Haney, has a lot of competition around him. I think it would be good for him to fight a guy like Jorge Linares. You could fight Javier Fortuna. I would probably give a shot at it with. Hmm. I mean, he could fight. Let's see, Felix Verdejo. That would be a damn good fight. I would love to see that fight. Him and Felix. That would be a damn good fight because Felix, he is a monster. Michelle Rivera, he will give him the work. I know that. Michelle Rivera, even though that he's going to fight Chris Colbert, so, I mean, that fight has already been made with him and Chris. And actually, come to think about it, Chris, he's actually in the featherweight division, right? Yeah, I think so. Yep, Chris Colbert, 14. So, honestly, he has a lot of climbing to do if he wants to. And then not to mention, don't forget about Shakur. So Shakur, he's in like the lightweight. So there's so much competition around Devin. He can definitely fight some good top level competition. I would like for him to fight Ladarius Miller. That would be a good fight. Um I mean, even Rolly too. Like Rolly could yo. Imagine Rolly fighting Devin Haney. That would just be an exposing session for Devin Haney to just wash up, Rolando. But I would definitely like to see that fight because like that would be a very like action packed fight. There would be a lot of tough trades, but I mean, I guess a lot of people are trying to say Gamboa should be his next opponent. I totally disagree with that because one, Gamboa, he is not the fighter that everybody had once looked at him. And then on top of that, he's really, really like he's just not a good name to put on your resume. Like I would probably use a guy like Felix Verdejo, Michelle Rivera, or shit, Hector Tanajara. Yo, Tanajara, that would be a damn good fight. For real, he can easily throw down with Hector. Hector would definitely give him the work. But I think honestly, for Devin's next possible opponent, if I were to run management, I would definitely fight a guy like Hector Tanajara or Felix Verdejo or Michel Rivera if he was available, but he's not available. I guess he's gonna fight Chris Colbert. That's what I've been hearing. I'm not too sure about that. But if all odds were favorable, I would probably go after Ryan Garcia if he wasn't fighting Luke Campbell. Honestly, it's just so weird because how is Luke Campbell ranked number 8? How what what has this nigga been doing throughout his boxing career? Who has this guy fought? He lost a split decision with Jorge Linares, got his ass beat by Lomachenko, and then, fights prior to that, you've been fighting within your country. He's only fought in America like 3 times. Like that's very sad. But I just don't get that. I think Luke Campbell, he's gonna give Ryan a good test. He's not a slouch. He definitely hurt Lomachenko, but something just tells me Luke, he does not deserve to be in the top 10. Like Ryan is definitely gonna climb more if he were to beat Luke, but I think Jorge versus Ryan would have been way better because Ryan would have had much more greater stock in the table. But if I were Devin Haney, I'd probably even fight Richard Comey. That would be a fun fight to watch. But like I said, probably Felix Verdejo or Hector Tanajara or yeah, I would say that's it. Because I would definitely say Javier Fortuna. He's a very, very fast southpaw. Or yeah, he's a southpaw. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to report about. Gary Russell backed out of the fight, so that was an official announcement on, I guess, like the news headline for, I guess, DAZN, right? Or I guess coming out of Gary Russell's team. I don't know. Honestly, I could just pull up like a source for y'all right now. Gary Russell versus Devin Haney. Yeah, fight canceled. Canceled. Yeah. That just sucks. I mean, I really want to see the fight, but yeah, it's just right here. All right, but I mean, like I don't need to like link it down, but I rather just show that as a proof to say, look, the fight has been canceled, and Gary Russell just basically screwed all the boxing fans to say, okay, look, there was a blank contract sent to me, so that means I'm just going to cancel the fight, knowing that Devin Haney and his team agreed to the fight, so it needs to be your responsibility to agree to the fight. But no, Gary Russell, he added extra stipulations to the fight, and he decided to not even, give Devin Haney's management team the right possible answers of what they wanted. They were giving Gary what he requested, and Gary decided not to be honest about it from this type of visual lens of what Gary is exposing. But honestly, man, this would have been a fun fight to watch. What would be like the next move for Gary? I'd say he needs to retire or just shut the hell up and fight. Just shut the hell up and fight Devin Haney, because It's already getting absolutely, frustrating when Gary Russell wants to put in all these extra stipulations when he stated himself that he didn't want any stipulations made for this fight with DAZN. But no, like it seems like that you turn the tables around Devin Haney, and now you're pissing him off and you're wasting his time. He wants to get fights. He wants to be number one at 135. And like I said, depending on who's going to win between the Vasil Lomachenko or Teofimo fight, if Teofimo does beat Lomachenko, which I have a high belief to believe that Teofimo will beat the shit out of Lomachenko. Devin Haney will be knocking on Tio's door to say, "Yo, bro, let's fucking fight." And if this nigga he don't fucking fight Devin, then guess what? Devin's gonna probably have to move up and wait, which I don't want to see that yet. I really want to see Devin beat Teofimo, take everybody down, and then we could see who's going to move up to, but it wouldn't surprise me if Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia will probably meet each other down the road because it's very possible of who is going to win their fights or not. But I have a good feeling that for the resurgence of the end of 2020 coming in just a couple months, it would be nice to see Devin Haney fight Ryan Garcia, so that way Devin can advance his legacy, and Ryan he can advance his legacy by taking all the hot smoke that is available. That is going to be a much bigger, uh, I guess, like length of competition amongst the top 25 fighters that are in the like boxing rankings. I think honestly, like for boxing, there needs to definitely be another, or or there needs to be like more multiple tournaments for high level fighters. Like a Super Six tournament would be very profitable, and it would help out boxers get their names up and most likely get those fighters to fight the best, because this is definitely hurting the sport of boxing, and that's why that I don't post a lot of sports talk videos as much because of crap like this. And it's like the same thing with the NBA too. I had a love and passion to talk about it, but now with all this crappy, like I guess like COVID, I guess uh, a delay with no fans and just poor mediocre performance from the NBA players. I'm just not going to watch the NBA games, and that's kind of the same thing with boxing right now. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to basically state like my final thoughts that Devin Haney should definitely fight either of those guys that I did mention, and that would definitely make his career way more profitable and much more dangerous, in his division. But we'll see after the Tio and Loma fight, and hopefully Devin he could probably fight somebody like Fortuna, or just somebody that can just give him a good boxing test before the year's over. All right, so I'll see y'all later. Please be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all, and yeah, have a good night. Bye.